Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melanie goes,
Tired.
what's going on, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to be looking at the DC collected editions for the October solicitations of 2023. So let's go ahead and get started. Now that the San Diego Comic-Con news are over, and we can all be excited about Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong, or the return of the Golden Age, now we can look at the upcoming trade paperbacks, graphic novels, original graphic novels that is, the Absolute Editions, the Omnibus Editions, and the Compendiums from DC Comics in the October solicitations. As always, the dates are subject to change, just keep that in mind. And yes, please don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Now, some of these books have already been leaked out, but here I am officially announcing them from the solicitations. So let's go ahead and get started. We are kicking it off with Danger Street. This is Tom King's new book with Jorge Fornes on artwork, collecting the first 6 issues. This is a soft cover coming out on November 23rd. As always, I'll put the information down there. And it's 192 pages, $19.99. And speaking of Tom King, we're also getting the Strange Adventures, the deluxe edition, which we've seen in the catalog. And this contains all 12 issues, plus the Strange Adventures Director's Cut. This is his take on Adam Strange. It's also Mitch Gerard's. He's joined by him and Evan Doc Shaner. Of course, they've worked previously together on a lot of projects. This one is 448 pages, $49.99, but it looks like it's been pushed until January of 2024. Nightwing Volume 4, The Leap. Now, this is the hardcover edition, standard size hardcover, 160 pages, $24.99. It is Tom Taylor, not to be confused by Tom King, but everybody does that apparently, is what both of them said. But artwork in here by Bruno Redondo, Daniel Di Nicolo, and Eduardo Pansica. Now, this collects issues of Nightwing 97 to 100 and the 2022 annual. 160 pages, $24.99. I can't wait to see how they collect one particular issue that I'm sure people know about that was just mind-boggling how they were able to do it. Dark Knights of Steel, another Tom Taylor book. And this is a reimagining, of course, of the Justice League in a medieval time. And collecting Dark Knights of Steel 7 through 12 and Tales from the Three Kingdoms one-shot. It's another standard size hardcover for $24.99, 208 pages. Now, it's not just Tom Taylor here. It looks like Jay Kristoff is writing it and C.S. Pacat. But you have artwork in here from Vasmin Putri and Nathan Gooden. And we're getting Poison Ivy Volume 2. My buddy Barr is a huge fan of G. Willow Wilson's series. You have artwork in here by Marco Takara and Atagun Ilhan. Jessica Fong is supplying the cover there. This collects issues of Poison Ivy 7 through 12. So this one is also a standard size hardcover, $24.99. You know, it's interesting that this might be doing really well then, because they're going straight standard size hardcover. And they usually save those for their big guns, kind of like Batman and Superman, and the spin-off titles that do well, like Nightwing. Unfortunately, like, the Batgirls never got a standard size hardcover, nor the Robin new series. Multiversity, Harley screws up the DCU. That is a very... I know that Amanda Conner did that cover, but it just reminds me of Deadpool. And maybe it's something that I've seen with Deadpool in it, and that's what I'm reminding of, or I'm remembering here. But it is a cover by Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti. Not really working on the book because it is Frank Terry and Logan Farber that are working on this, and this is collecting Multiversity Harley Screws Up issues 1 through 6. This is a hardcover, standard size, and $24.99. Now we have the return of Webtoon Comics, so we have a collection of Vixen NYC Volume 3, collecting episodes. They are calling them episodes, 20 through 28. And this one is a soft cover, and it is a 6x9. That is the dimensions of it. And let's see, it is 208 pages, $14.99. So if you're reading those, let me know in the comments down below. Satana and the Ripper, Volume 2. This is another one of the webtoons. This is written by Sarah Deely, and Rachel Koo is the artist. This one is 208 pages, $14.99. And we're getting Teen Titans Go to the Library. I love that they keep pumping out kid books. 160 pages, $9.99. Now, this is a digest-sized book. It is a soft cover, and that one comes out in January of 2024. Crazy that we're talking about that stuff. But then again, I've been announcing Marvel books all the way to July. Oh my gosh, and almost August. All right, we're getting a new edition, a new printing of an Absolute, and that is Absolute Luther Joker. This is a reprint collecting Brian Azzarello's and Lee Bermejo's both series collected in one Absolute edition, and they're just calling these the 2024 edition. I don't think you're going to see that on the cover. It's just called 2024 edition. And this collects both Lex Luthor, Man of Steel 1 through 5, and also the Joker. And I believe Joker was an original graphic novel, so it doesn't have issues. 384 pages. You have a Lee Bermejo cover. This time around, it's $125. I think the first printing was $100. That one comes out in March. Arkham Maniacs. This is the return of Art Baltasar to that style that my daughters loved when they were just 2 and 3 years old. And oh my gosh, I have so many fond memories of both of them reading these Tiny Titans. But this is their take on Arkham Asylum, and it is the 2023 edition. So it's a new printing of it, collecting that particular graphic novel. It is a softcover for $12.99, and again, it's a digest size. A lot of people are going to be excited about this one, and rightly so. I mentioned that Batman and Robin is getting an omnibus, the Batman and Robin Eternal, so I'm sure that the Batman Eternal reprint was around the corner, and sure enough, here we go. Batman Eternal Omnibus, the 2023 edition, collecting Batman Eternal 1 through 52 and Batman 28, which is where the series kind of spun off, and Scott Snyder was like, hey, go and read my Scott Snyder and James Tynion spin-off series that's coming out weekly. So it is 1,208 pages, $125, coming out December 5th of 2023. Jason Fabok on artwork, Dustin Wynn, Tim Seeley, Ray Fox, Kyle Higgins, and Andy Clark are just some of the creators that were helping out James Tynion and Scott Snyder on this spin-off series. So very glad to officially see this coming out. Batman Volume 5, Fierce State, James Tynion, Jorge Jimenez, and Ben Gao. And this collects issues 112 to 117 of Batman. 160 pages, $16.99, and that is the softcover version. Speaking of softcover, we're getting Batman Catwoman by Tom King and Clay Mann and Liam Sharp, collecting Batman Annual Number 2, Catwoman 80th Anniversary 100 Super Special, Spectacular, Detective Comics 1027, and of course those are just materials from, and then Batman Catwoman 1 through 12. This has been previously collected in a standard size hardcover. Batman Gotham After Midnight, the deluxe edition. I was just talking to some of my viewers how it's one of my most wanted Absolute, the vampire trilogy. But, you know, it's a start. So here we go with a deluxe edition, collecting stories in here from Gotham After Midnight. But I want that Red Rain era. But this has art and cover by Kelly Jones. It's written by Steve Niles and Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. And $49.99. And it is a deluxe edition, meaning it's oversized. So maybe one day we'll get the Red Rain trilogy. That would be awesome to have. Batman, Harley and Ivy, coming out this time in softcover edition, $19.99. And collecting Harley and Ivy 1 through 3, Batman Adventures Annual Number 1, Batman Adventures Holiday Special Number 1, Batman and Robin Adventures Number 8, Batgirl Adventures Number 1, and then Stories from Gotham Knights 14, and Batman Black and White Number 3. Batman Killing Time, another one of the Tom King books that he wrote after his run, collecting all 6 issues as a softcover for $19.99, 208 pages, coming out December 5th. The long-awaited Dark Knight's Death Metal Omnibus is coming out now in January of 2024. And you have two covers. You have the standard edition cover, and you're also going to get a direct market cover, which is what we saw when they did the DC Dark Knight's Metal Omnibus. So, this is huge. This book has 968 pages, $125. So it is bigger than the first Metal Omnibus. And by huge, I mean there's a lot of content in here. So you have Dark Knight's Death Metal 1 through 7, which is what the Absolute created, plus the tie-in stories from Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knights, number 1, Death Metal The Last 52, War of the Multiverses, Death Metal Speed Metal, Infinite Hour Extreme, Metal Trinity Crisis, Robin King, Multiverse and Death Metal Rise of the New Gods, Dark Knight's Death Metal Multiverse Who Laughs, it's the entire multiverse laughing, Death Metal Guidebook number 1, Death Metal Secret Origin number 1, Dark Knight's Death Metal, The Last Stories of the DC Universe, and then Justice League 53 through 57, which of course he was writing at the time. So glad to keep seeing these solicited. I love it, and this is a huge one for those of us that have been collecting these for a long time. Batman the Dark Knight Detective, Volume 8, officially solicited. Hells yes. Detective Comics 644 to 653 and Detective Comics Annual 5, plus the corrected printing of Detective Comics Annual 4. I guess they were like, yeah, we're not going to do a recall. We'll just put it in the next book. 352 pages, $29.99. And if you're just keeping tabs on the Batman reading order, what does that mean? That means this leads directly into Batman Nightfall Omnibus Volume 1. So, it's huge. It's huge. Huge news, not big physically, but just huge that it's finally coming out. And big physically, in softcover format, we have Green Lantern Kyle Rayner Rising Compendium. So this collects Green Lantern number 0, issues 48 through 65, Rebels 94 number 1, New Teen Titans 116 and 117, 124 and 125, Guard Gardner Warrior 27 and 28, Dark Stars 34, and Damage 16. You'll have no idea how much of this stuff has, like, I know these are the 2 trade paperbacks put together, right? I realize that, but it's a start. But you have no idea how much of this stuff, just looking through here, Dark Stars, Guy Gardner Warrior, New Teen Titans from that, or New Titans from that era, and Damage, like how none of that stuff has been collected in trade paperback. So, it is good to see this come back, and it is a compendium, and they must sell well enough, and I know that it's not an omnibus that a lot of people wanted, and like myself, but it's a start. Who knows, maybe one day. 704 pages, $59.99. But if you own the 2 trade paperbacks of Kyle Rayner that kicks off with the Emerald Twilight story, it's the same. Actually, it's the exact same content. Green Lantern, the Silver Age Omnibus is coming back to print. That is a huge surprise, but good for the people that missed out on it. This collects stories from Showcase 22 through 24 and Green Lantern 1 through 35. Now, introducing us to, of course, Hal Jordan as the Green Lantern. Because remember, the Golden Age, it was Alan, but now we have Hal Jordan. John Broome, Gardner Fox, Gil Kane, Murphy Anderson, and then, of course, a cover by the phenomenal, legendary Darwin Cook. Hardware Season 1 is coming out in softcover format, collecting the first 6 issues, $19.99, 192 pages. So this is all part of their new Milestone Returns line. Brandon Thomas, Reggie Hudlin, and Greg Pak are the 3 main creators attached to this particular project. But the big thing here is artwork by Dennis Cohen, who of course was one of the original big founders of Milestone, the original Milestone universe. But you also have other returning Milestone folks like Chris Cross in here, Ryan Benjamin and Bill Sienkiewicz doing some of the artwork. Infinite Crisis, the 2023 edition. Now, this is a hardcover, and it's really interesting that they're doing this hardcover because this is coming out in standard size hardcover edition, which was the way it was originally released with the fixed pages, because unfortunately Phil Jimenez couldn't keep up with the schedule, so they had some fill-in pages at the end of issue number 7. See the original pages from the single issues, and then the pages that they put into the collected edition. But it's coming back to print. $29.99, 264 pages, all 7 issues of Infinite Crisis, my favorite event at DC Comics. Justice League Volume 2, United Order. Brian Michael Bendis' run continues with Justice League 64 through 71. This is the softcover version, $19.99. 192 pages. Nubia and the Amazons. Both this and the book I'm about to talk about here in a second, and the previous book, the Justice League book, have been collected in standard size hardcover format. This collects Nubia and the Amazons 1 through 6, and then pages from Infinite Frontier number 0. 160 pages, $19.99. Stephanie Williams and Vida Ayala working on this book with artwork by Daryl Banks and Alita Martinez, just to name a few of the artists working there. Tom Taylor's Superman, Son of Kal-El. This is Volume 2. The Rising continues. Again, this is in trade paperback. It's been previously released as a hardcover, standard size hardcover. So collecting Son of Kal-El 7 through 10 and Son of Kal-El 2021 annual and Nightwing 89, $16.99, and it's 184 pages. Again, a softcover. Superman, the Silver Age Omnibus. I assume that is still a placeholder. I don't know. I could be wrong. Whenever we saw it in the catalog months ago, I thought, oh, this is just a placeholder. Otto Binder, Bill Finger, Jerry Siegel, Wayne Boring, Kurt Swan. Just some of the wonderful creators that are working on this or worked on this book. Collecting Action Comics 241 to 265, 122, or Superman 122 to 137. So 816 pages, $100. Superman has officially entered the Silver Age in omnibus format. Very happy for the people that have been collecting the Golden Age and hoping one day they'll start the Silver Age. One step closer, baby. One step closer. The Invisibles, Volume 2. This is the 2023 edition. It's a reprint of this softcover, collecting issues 13 through 25. Grant Morrison's amazing, crazy, freaking ride. You have artwork in here with by... I know it's Phil Jimenez, but Tommy Lee Edwards, and there's some Jill Thompson in there. Covered by Brian Bolin. Speaking of one step closer, baby, one step closer to Question Omnibus by Dennis O'Neil and Dennis Cohen, Volume 2. So, collecting the Question 28 through 36, wrapping up the series. Annual number 2, Green Arrow Annuals 2 and 3. Glad that they put those in there. Plus, additional tales from the Question Quarterly 1 through 5, Brave and the Bold 1 through 6, The Question Returns number 1, and stories from Showcase 95, 3, and Asriel Plus number 1. Dennis O'Neil, Kelly Puckett, Mike Grell, Mike Barron, Dennis Cohen, Joe Quesada, and other phenomenal creators working on this book. 872 pages, $125. So glad it's coming out. Now, bring on, one day soon, I hope, I get to see Flash by Mark Waid Volume 2. So, for the people that are worried about Flash, Mark Waid Volume 2, there's books like this that sometimes they just, it's a while. I mean, not as long as we've had to wait between Batman by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Omnibus Volume 1 and 2. But, sometimes it does take a little bit of time to get these out. And I'm glad it's coming out. Now, this one is coming out in November of this year. Trial of the Amazons. Love that cover by Jim Chung there. Man, this is Becky Cloonan and Joelle Jones, Vida Ayala, Michael Conrad, and you have artwork in here by Joelle Jones and Elena Casagrande and Becky Cloonan. Collecting Wonder Woman 785 to 786, Nubia and the Amazons 6, Trial of the Amazons 1 and 2, and Trial of the Amazons Wonder Girl 1 and 2. It's been available in hardcover and now it's coming out in a trade paperback. Oh, baby. Woo, when I saw this, so I had the solicitations for about a week and a half, but I couldn't let them go until they said to let them go, whatever day this is. Young Justice Omnibus Volume 1. I'm going to say this. Let me redo that. Retake. Peter David's first DC Omnibus is coming out with Young Justice Omnibus Volume 1. I'm not going to edit. I'll leave it alone. But that is a huge deal. That is a huge deal because we've had, for a few years now, Peter David dominating the Marvel Omnibus with his name, whether it's Captain Marvel, whether it's his run on Hulk, whether it's She-Hulk, whether it's his Spider-Man 2099, and now we have officially solicited and in the catalog, coming out in December, Young Justice Omnibus Volume 1. So, not just Peter David, of course, because you have the crossover here, but you have Mark Waid, Todd DeZago, Todd Knock, of course, applying most of the artwork because he was the main artist on the book, but also Humberto Ranos, Angel Unzueta, and other folks, and of course, Todd Knock on the cover. This collects Young Justice 1 through 19, Young Justice 1000, or 1 million, sorry, JLA World Without Grown-Ups 1 and 2, Young Justice The Secret, Young Justice Secret Files number 1, Secret Origins 80-page giant number 1, No Man's Land one-shot, the Young Justice one-shot. Here's the crossover stuff, Supergirl 36 through 37, Superboy 74, Sins of Youth 1 and 2, I love that crossover, Sins of Youth Secret Files number 1, and Sins of Youth JLA Junior, as well as Aquaboy, Lagoon Boy, One Shot, Batboy and Robin number 1, Kid Flash and Impulse number 1, Star Woman and the JSA number 1, and Superman Jr. and Superboy Sr., Sins of Youth, Wonder Girls number 1, and Sins of Youth, The Secret, Dead Boy The Secret and Dead Boy number 1. It's when the adult characters in the DC Universe got de-aged, and they aged up the young characters of the DC Universe. I love that story. 1,208 pages, $150, coming out in December. Love it. Love it. 0 Hour is coming back to print. This is the 2023 edition. Now, most of the time when they do these reprints of Omnis, this is the Crisis in Time Omnibus, by the way, they have the same mapping, they have the same page count, and it's just nothing different. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we know, because there's no official content that they gave us. So it's kind of a guessing game. Now, this one is $175. The original printing, I believe, was $150. However, the original printing had 976 pages. This one has 1,096 pages. So it's 100 more pages. I'm not sure what more they could add. I mean, I have a couple of ideas, but then that opens up all kinds of doors. Okay, the original solicits had Action Comics 703, so I'm sure these will be included again. Besides 0 Hour 4 through 0, because that's how you're supposed to read them, because remember, it's a countdown. It had Action Comics 705, Adventures of Superman 516, Anima number 7, Batman 511, Shadows of the Bat 31, Catwoman 14, Damage number 6, Dark Stars 24, Detective Comics 678, The Flash 0 and 94, Green Arrow 90, and Green Lantern number 0 and 55, Guy Gardner Warrior number 24, Hawkman number 13, Justice League 92, Justice League International 68, Justice League Task Force 16, Legion 9470, Legionnaires 18, Legion of Superheroes 61, Outsiders 11, Robin 10, Steel 8, Superboy 8, Superman 93, Superman Man of Steel 37, Teen Titans number 24, Valor number 23, and then Stories from Showcase 94, 8 through 10. So, I mean, they could add some 0 issues, but those 0 issues tie into what was going on at the time at DC. There's some 0 issues that were the origin of characters, or sometimes some villains, but yeah, I'm curious to see what they added for 100, well, I guess it's 120 more pages. So, yeah, that is it for this particular solicit. If you're interested in any of these books, don't forget to pre-order them from our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltzcomicshop.com, and you can use the code NEARMINTCONDITION at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. So what did you think of this round of solicits? What you're happy to see? What you're hoping to see one day? Really took you by surprise, like Young Justice. I love seeing Peter David's name on an omnibus, and now we have DC. Hopefully that opens the doors to Aquaman, even though that would be a little bit weird to map at the end. I don't care. We can still do it. And Supergirl, of course. But yes, let me know what you think. Leave those comments down below. Smash that like button on the way out. Thank you all so much for watching. And we are on Patreon and Spreadshop. Amazing ways to support the channel. And thank you so much to our existing patrons. Cannot be doing videos like this without you all. Stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.